Back to centuries ago, it was an era when people's wish could come true as long as they had sincerity. Those were the good old days under the king's conquer. The king had a beautiful family in his majestic palace. Alongside the palace, there was a great forest with a huge pool. Beneath the deep, deep pool, there stood an old lime tree. One day, the king's daughter, the princess, played all along her way to the forest. She stopped next to the pool with her bumping ball. All of a sudden, the ball slipped off her hands and dove into the pool. It quickly sank and disappeared in the water. The princess found the pool so deep that she didn't know what she could do. She began to cry. Just when the princess was crying, a frog came to her. "Is that you, frog? I lost my ball in the pool and I don't know what to do," said the princess. "Please don't cry, my princess. I know how to swim and I might help you," said the frog. "But can you give me what I want if I give you a helping hand?" The frog kept on saying, "I do not want your wealth, your jewelry, or your golden crown. All I want from you is love and friendship. We can be companion and share our lives. I can share your gourmet, wine, and happy moments. We can also sleep together at night." The frog asked the princess if she was willing to make this promise. The princess nodded. "Yes, I promise you." The frog dove into the pool and made his best effort to search for the ball. Only in a short while, the frog came back with the princess's beloved toy. The ball was on the grassland again. The princess was so excited to hold her toy in her hands. She grabbed it tight and started to run away from the forest. "Hey princess, please don't go," the frog yelled right after the princess's move. "Come on, I can't run as fast as you do. Please wait for me." The princess ignored the frog's wish and forgot her promise. She left the frog behind in the forest alone. Full of disappointments, the frog jumped back to the pool in his own. Days after, when the princess was having a meal with her father in the palace, she heard some unusual creeps. Splash, splash, splash. As she ran to check out the sounds, she heard someone was knocking on the door and crying out, "My dear princess, please open the door for your love." Surprisingly, the princess found that it was the frog waiting at the door. The princess was terrified and the door was banged shut. She was too frightened and could not make a move. The king found that the princess was shaking, so he asked, "My dear, what makes you so scared? Is it something strange out there?" The frog behind the door kept crying when the king and the princess were about to continue the talk. "My dear princess, daughter of the king, please open up the door for me. My dear princess, daughter of the king, please open up the door for me. Don't you remember what happened yesterday? You promised to me by the well. Your ball was lost in the pool. I heard your words, you promised me." The princess felt ashamed and could not help crying. After knowing what happened, the king told the princess to keep her promise and opened the door. He invited the frog to live in the palace. The frog felt so delighted to be accepted. He wanted to share the meal on the golden plate with the princess. However, the princess lost her appetite when she was with the frog. The princess was scared to touch the frog. She stayed away from him all day long. At night, the princess started to sob when she knew she had to share her bed with the frog. In her bedroom, the princess held the frog with her fingertips. She put the frog at a tiny corner of her bedroom. While the princess was about to sleep, the frog talked to her at her bedside. "You have to let me share your bed. Otherwise, I am going to tell the king." The princess could only follow the frog's request and kissed him goodnight. "Well, you get what you want. Now it's time to go to bed." Out of the princess's expectation, the frog turned into a handsome and shining prince. He looked at the princess with his charming eyes. The princess could not wait to tell the frog's story to the king. Admiring the prince's courage and determination, the king made the princess his wife and let them go back to the prince's kingdom. On the next day, the prince's fellow was waiting the prince with a glorious carriage outside the palace. The prince returned home with the princess and they lived happily ever after.